I was raised by a single mother, primarily my mother, you know, she did her best job. You know, she was trying to, you know, stay afloat financially. She was trying to pursue her own development through, you know, education. So she, you know, had multiple degrees that ultimately didn't really serve her in a sense. I mean, academia served her. However, you know, her goal was like to become an artist, but with 3 kids and having to, you know, provide food and shelter primarily. I mean, dad paid child support up to a certain point, and then they got in a huge fight where that was withdrawn. My dad was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I want to take Albie. I'll take Albie. That was my childhood nickname. I'll take Albie and Shonda, and you keep Leanda, and I'm going to give you this lump sum of money, and we'll just, that's it. Like that was his thinking. We'll just split up the family. I'll take these kids, you take that kid, and we're not going to see each other anymore, basically. Like, I'm going to raise these and take these, and at least until they're adults. And then once they're adults, then they can reunite.
So who was the sister that you were living with then?
Both my sisters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my whole family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he wanted to do that.
Oh, he wanted to do that.
And since my mother was unwilling to do that, he withdrew child support and basically fled. They got in a huge fight before I went into 7th grade. And it was like probably one of the most heart-wrenching, like, castle getting washed away by the sea moments of my childhood. It was like the split off from, you know, that childhood hope that maybe my parents will get back together and everything's going to work out. You know, like that was like my biggest prayer, because I love my dad and my mother so much. I love them both so much, despite their dysfunction. And so, yeah.
And I mean, because how old were you at the time?
I was
like 12?
when the full split. Yeah, that was like 11. That was like 11.
Because that's such, I mean, obviously the formative years, and, you know, I feel like divorce is such a big part of kind of like the fabric that so many of us go through. But then when there's kids involved, you know, we don't necessarily know what the repercussions are until later. So
It's complex.
Yeah, and there's so many layers of that. So how did that really affect you?
I believe it was, I mean, it sent me into addiction and all kinds of crazy stuff. I spent so many years working through and suffering through, I would say, initially. Because it was like, at that point, I was severed from my younger self, my boyhood self, you know, and that like, maybe that innocence. So it was almost like this innocence, because I had the innocent hope and that naive like belief that maybe my parents would get back together. And so that was like the shattering of my childhood in a way. That moment was pivotal, because then I was like encased in some ways and really became, relationally maladaptive. And I think I probably already was at that point. We just weren't around a lot of people a lot. They lived like kind of reclusive lives in some ways. And so there was school, but even though there was school, there wasn't that extra addition of, well, there was here and there. I don't want to say there wasn't. Because we'd go to other friends' houses and stuff through elementary school. So I had different experiences of family, which helped me understand that my family was fucking nuts. Can we say that on this?
Yes, of course. Okay. You're like, actually, this does not look like my family at home. Yeah. Where were you living at the time?
Orange County.
Oh, okay, in California.
You know, so California. I lived in Orange County my whole life, pretty much, except with little stints in Bali and Thailand.
Oh my gosh! Wow, I can see that. Yeah. I mean, you look like surfer dude.
Yeah. So it's been a journey, and I could go, you know, forever. And just so in lieu of time, going back to that wound mate question that you asked, right? So energetically, you know, we're like multifaceted, multidimensional beings. We're energy. At the end of the day, we are energy, you know, and the quality of our emotions dictates our overall energy, you know, and also our beliefs, like deep-seated beliefs about ourselves, about the world, about life itself, that are often, because of those traumatic experiences, really programmed into our subconscious from an early age of, this is what you can expect. And because like energetically, our subconscious, like from our early years, you know, we're like completely just coming out of source, coming out of, you know, God, you know, as a individualized droplet of God, the ocean of God. And so coming into life, we're like, they say we're sponges, but it's like, we're not only that, we're like completely clear, like for the most part. And so as we experience in our environment and our and you know, see these parental relationships and how people interact and stuff, we're taking in a blueprint of what life is like, what to expect in reality, like as a blueprint, right? And so from that blueprint, we chart our course by the choices we make because of that blueprint. Unless there are reference points and other people that can help model for us, oh, there's different ways of doing this. But it still doesn't take away the gravity of our parental relationships or lack thereof.
See you next time at the Brave Table.